Hi guys, it's Terry, and this video, though not specifically ASMR, is going to be done in a soft-spoken manner because I know somebody who is going through a rough time right now and they enjoy my soft-spoken videos. So this video is dedicated to them, and I hope that they enjoy it, and I hope that they are experiencing some peace and comfort that I've been sending their way through prayers. All right, well, here I am with my sexy old lady glasses on because I'm going to be doing some reading to you. I'm going to be reading some Christmas trivia. Now, I cannot vouch for the absolute truth of this trivia, so you're going to have to give me a break on that. If you know it to be not true or in part not true, then you can correct me in the comments. I'll be glad to know. So I'm here with my sparkly Christmas earrings and my sparkly cool Christmas bracelets and my neat Christmas pendant, and you can see it's got a little tree charm and a little candy cane charm, and it says, "I run on coffee and Christmas cheer." And boy, don't I know that's the truth. Okay, and I'm using my "You Sit on a Throne of Lies" mug. I love that mug. Okay, so shall we get ready for our trivia? Let's do it. Let's jump in. Number 1. In the Netherlands, St. Nicholas gives gifts on December the 6th. So not the 25th like we're used to. And I have found in looking up trivia that a lot of countries do not necessarily celebrate their Christmas holiday on the 25th. So I find that interesting. Okay, number 2. Christmas is the most popular day of the year to send cards. That's not surprising, but it's followed by Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and then Easter. And you know, I think I can remember when I was a kid getting Easter cards, but I don't remember seeing anything about Easter cards for quite some time. If you still send them or get them, let me know. Okay, number 3. I love this one. In Russia, babushka, an old woman, brings gifts to kids on January the 5th, hoping that one of them is baby Jesus. Isn't that the sweetest thing? I mean, you know, Jesus has already been born, so I think babushka's kind of not going to get her wish, but I think that's the sweetest idea of an old woman going around giving gifts to kids, hoping that one of them is going to be Jesus. I just think that's sweet. Okay, number 4. The Rockefeller Center tree started small. Construction workers pooled their money to buy a Christmas tree to give some holiday cheer to people during the Depression. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Like I said, I don't know if that one's true or not, but wouldn't that be neat to know that some construction workers thought, hey, it's the Depression, people are out of work, the mood of the whole country is down, let's do a little something to cheer people up. That's a cool idea. I really like this one. When invented in 1610, tinsel was actually made out of silver. It's actually made out of strips of silver. And I'm sitting here thinking, you probably need to have a really strong tree to be able to put strips of silver all over it. But what a neat idea, real silver. Okay, number 6. I'm sorry, almost read number 5 again. There are 12 courses in the Ukrainian Christmas Eve supper, one for each disciple of Christ. That's a pretty cool idea, but I cannot even imagine trying to consume 12 courses. Now, your girl Terry can eat. I can. Born and raised in the South, we know how to eat. But I'm like, oh my goodness, that is a lot of food. How do you even get 12 courses in a meal? That's just amazing. Okay, number 7. In Sweden, people traditionally watch Donald Duck cartoons on Christmas Eve. Excuse me, I've got to see what my cat's doing. Okay, she's not destroying the house. She's one of 5 that I have, and so she's not destroying the house. She's the kitten, and as long as she's not destroying the house, I'm okay. All right, so yeah, in Sweden, people traditionally watch Donald Duck cartoons on Christmas Eve. That's so strange. I mean, you'd think they would watch a Christmas-themed cartoon, maybe something about Santa Claus or Rudolph, but just that's something else. Interesting. Number 8. England is the birthplace of eggnog, which is named after grog, an alcoholic drink. Now, my eggnog doesn't contain any alcohol in it because I can't drink, and that was my daughter Chelsea sneezing. Isn't that cute? That's the cutest thing ever. But yeah, eggnog named after grog, which is an alcoholic drink. And actually, when my husband was in the National Guard, they made a drink they called grog by putting in all the alcohols from the wars that his particular troop had been in. And they had been in wars ever since the Civil War. So there was a lot of alcohol in that grog, and it just smelled ghastly, and no, I did not drink any of it. Blech. Okay, number 9. The Salvation Army Angel Tree has provided gifts to kids since the 1970s. I don't know if you're aware of this, but a lot of times if you go into a shopping center or a mall or whatever, there will be a tree there, and it will have angels attached to it, and you might see a sign for the Salvation Army. And what you do is you take an angel off the tree, and it'll have a name on it. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't have a name. I'm sorry. It just has boy or girl and their age and what size they wear and some of the things that they wanted for Christmas. And you take the angel and you go and you buy clothes and maybe some other things, that they might need. And then you make sure to buy some toys and some things they want, because kids are, what they want and what they need is usually in 2 different categories, and they should get a little bit of both. So yeah. And you take that back to the Salvation Army, and they make sure that gets to the kid that angel belongs to. And Bill and I have done that before, and I just think it's a really cool thing. But I did not know it'd been going since the 70s. That's wonderful. Okay, number 10. One of the first commercially sold artificial Christmas trees was made from toilet brushes. I always thought that there had to be a finer purpose in life for a toilet brush than what it's usually used for. So, good for toilet brushes that at one point they were Christmas trees. They can look back on that and say, I remember when I wasn't used for cleaning a toilet. But so yeah, isn't that interesting? And if you think about it, artificial trees today, their limbs, when you look at the limbs really carefully, you can almost kind of see where that came from. So that's kind of crazy, but kind of cool too. Number 11. It is rumored that the Grinch's green color was inspired by the lead animator's ugly green car. Because Dr. Seuss's original Grinch was not green. He was black and white with, I think, some pink and red shading in, but he wasn't green. So when it was made for the special, that's when he turned green. And he's green. He's been green in the books that have been released. But yeah, that's something. Okay, number 12. In parts of Eastern Europe, it's tradition to keep a live fish in the bathtub in anticipation of the Christmas Eve feast. Okay, that's certainly different. Now, I don't know if they're keeping the live fish in the bathtub because they're going to eat it as part of the feast. I assume so. I don't know why else you'd keep the fish in the bathtub, but and if you only have one bathroom, what's going to happen with showers and what's going to happen with I have questions. I have questions about this live fish in the bathtub. Do I have to take a bath with a fish in the bathtub? Again, I have questions. Okay, number 13. Don't ever feel sorry for Paul McCartney because Paul McCartney gets $500,000 a year from the song Wonderful Christmas Time. On average, from the royalties he gets from that being played, $500,000 a year. I will never see $500,000 in a year. And this is what he is getting from one Christmas song that's being played of his. Not to mention, I don't even want to know how many Beatles royalties he's getting, but every time you hear Wonderful Christmas Time, think of Paul McCartney and think cha-ching. Okay, number 14. The word Lego comes from the Dutch words leg and got, which means play well. And I'm sure many, many children over the years have played well with their Legos. Okay, number 15. In the 12th century, trees were hung upside down as a symbol of Christianity. Because, in the pagan religions, in the Norse religions and other religions, they were put right side up as a symbol of life and living and fertility and that sort of thing. But so in the 12th centuries, Christians decided to hang them upside down. And that was their way of saying we are taking the pagan idea of this and inverting it into a Christian idea. And then apparently they just got tired of doing that because now everybody puts them right side up. And, my Christmas tree is right side up and I am a Christian, but whatever. Okay, number 16. Christmas was forbidden in England in 1644 by an act of Parliament. Yeah, I think is that Oliver Cromwell's years? Yeah, he was not good for England, and I'm probably afraid there'd be too much merrymaking and people would get too excited and maybe riot or something, or maybe the Anglican Church thought it was just too much fun. I don't know. I tend to think it was the rioting thing that Oliver Cromwell didn't want that happening. But yeah, banned by an act of Parliament. Can you imagine even what would happen if Congress tried to ban Christmas? 350 million, 330 million, how many ever there are of us in America, would probably just say, no, that's not happening. Okay, number 17. The song White Christmas in the movie Holiday Inn won the 1942 Oscar for Best Original Song. And I told you this one last year, but for a very long time, it was the number one single, still the number one Christmas single. So, yeah, White Christmas, good song. Number 18. Silent Night has had 730 copyrighted versions since 1978. That is an average of about 17 different copyrighted versions per year. And speaking of, if you have not heard Trans-Siberian, no, I'm sorry, I get Trans-Siberian and Mannheim Steamroller mixed up because they both do different versions of Christmas carols. But if you have not heard Mannheim Steamroller's version of Silent Night, then I really urge you after this video is over to go and immediately YouTube it, and you will, it is just, it'll stir your heart. If it doesn't, then you're dead or you have no soul. But it's really, really an incredibly good version, Mannheim Steamroller. Number 19. I love this one because it's so totally weird. A Wonderful Life appeared in an FBI report when an analyst feared the movie was a communist plot to discredit bankers. Yeah. Because when I think communist plot, I automatically think It's a Wonderful Life. It's totally up there with, yeah, it's right up there with all the other, it's right up there with a Communist Manifesto. It's Communist Manifesto and then It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, okay. Let's see, number 20. A Christmas Carol, written in 1843 by Charles Dickens, has been filmed 200 plus times. Now, I know you guys have seen a ton of different versions of A Christmas Carol. You've got Mickey's Christmas Carol. You've got the CGI animated one they did a few years back with Jim Carrey. You've got a Muppet Christmas Carol. You've got the Christmas Carol with George C. Scott that was done in 1984. You've got the 1950-something, I don't remember what year, with Alistair Sim. So there's a lot of good Christmas Carol films out there. My favorite is probably the George C. Scott one, 1984. George C. Scott plays Scrooge, and it's faithful to the story, and it's really, really good. And George C. Scott makes a great Scrooge. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. It's pretty good. Okay, number 21. One Horse Open Sleigh, that was written by James Lord Pierpoint, was written for a Thanksgiving concert. It's now known as Jingle Bells and sung at Christmas. So what was originally meant for Thanksgiving made its way to Christmas under a completely different title. And so I think that's funny because when you think about it, if you think about the words to Jingle Bells, there's nothing inherently Christmas about them. It's about riding a sled in the snow with horses that had jingle bells on them. So, yeah, I mean, you could do it Thanksgiving or Christmas, I guess. Number 22. Jim Carrey was originally cast as Buddy in the movie Elf instead of Will Ferrell. And I told you, we talked about this one in my Christmas show and tell, Santa show and tell, and Mug show and tell. But yeah, like I said in that one, I am so thankful that it was Will Ferrell and not Jim Carrey, because a little Jim Carrey goes a long way with me. I just want to give him a Xanax, halfway through, and just like, oh my Lord, just calm down. Okay, number 23. Both Eddie Murphy and Jack Nicholson were considered for the role of the Grinch in the live action of How the Grinch Stole Christmas before the role went to Jim Carrey. So here's another Christmas and Jim Carrey fact. I think any three of those would have been good in that role. Jim Carrey was good in that role. He managed to, hold it down a little bit, which was good. I could see Eddie Murphy for the funny part of the Grinch, and I think that Jack Nicholson would have been a fantastic Grinchy Grinch, like a bad mood, grumbly Grinchy Grinch. So, all right, number 24. Santa Claus was originally elf-sized until Coca-Cola began depicting him as life-sized, normal human-sized in the 1920s. So in The Night Before Christmas, when it says he was a right jolly old elf, they meant it. He was originally portrayed as an elf. And now, since having the Coca-Cola Santa advertisements and images of him since then, we see him as kind of, I think, maybe short and roly-poly, but still, as a normal, average-sized person. So interesting to think that he was first portrayed as the same size as his elves. Kind of an interesting thing. Number 25. Neiman Marcus, which, major pricey store, once sold a life-size edible gingerbread house for $15,000 a piece. So life-size, completely edible, $15,000. And when they say life-size, they mean life-size for a child. The child could actually go in it. So yeah, Neiman Marcus puts out a Christmas catalog every year with things for people to buy who have more money than they do cents. And as my grandmother used to say, God gives candy to those who have new teeth. In other words, God gives a lot. My cat is in my Christmas village. I'm not sure what she's doing, but it doesn't sound good. So far, everything looks okay. Sometimes I will do a video of when a cat is in the village, as if a giant monster cat has attacked the village. So far, my black cat has made it into a video, and I said that the village had been attacked by a giant panther. And then my gray and white tabby cat, who has some Himalayan or Persian in her, I'm not sure which. I said at that point that the village had been attacked by a giant lynx, because she actually does look kind of like a mini lynx. People ask me if if she's Maine Coon or has Maine Coon in her. I know she's not Maine Coon. I don't know that if she has Maine Coon in her or not, because she was a rescue. I doubt it, but she is very floofy and black and gray. It has big, huge white whiskers and white tufts of fur coming out of her ears. So yeah, she kind of looks like a lynx. Well, guys, there you have it. 25 trivia facts about Christmas. I will be back with one more Christmas video, probably not soft-spoken. It's a Christmas tag, so I'll be answering the questions in the tag, and I encourage you to write the questions down in the tag and play it with your friends, put it on your Facebook, whatever, or, answer it on TikTok or however you want to do it. Guys, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe, and I hope that you are getting in the holiday spirit. I'm sure everyone has all their gifts bought and all their Christmas gifts wrapped. And I'm sure you guys are ready to go. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.